Hello dear friends, welcome to Teaching Methodologies and Teaching Resources channel. In this video we are going to talk about experiential learning, its definition and how does it helps in the growth of a person or how it helps in the learning of a person. So this is all about experimenting different teaching methodologies or the strategies, and then coming up to a certain result, and then searching out the answer whether those methodologies have yielded the positive result as the expected results or not, and then hypothesizing another strategy. So let's get started. Okay, very firstly, I'm going to tell you about the definition of experiential learning. The short form is EXL. So, it is the process of learning through experience and is more specifically defined as learning through reflection on doing. When we are talking about experiential, we can also say as experiential teaching or experiential training or development or experiential activities, etc. There can be other variations as well in the terms, but we use the word learning with experiential. The purpose of using the word learning with experiential is to focus on this thing that actually it is from the learner's point of view. And in this case, a learner can be a student, it can be a teacher, or any other person who's trying to reflect on his strategies. And experiential learning, it actually helps in the growth of a person from inside, and it determines and is controlled as well by the individual. And the purpose of this experiential learning is of achieving the personal development and growth. When you are willing to learn something from your failures or something which hasn't been that productive, and you're willing to do something more creative, and you want to do something to achieve your desired results, so we go through this experiential learning. Let us talk about this in detail. Description: experiential learning is actually a hands-on activity learning. Usually it's an open-ended discussion. If you are doing something and you need the opinion or you want to discuss it with others, so it's always open-ended, and it's you apply them in real life as well. For example, if you're learning something and someone asks you about his daily life application, so there are certain things or places where you can actually apply them in your real life. And through this experiential learning, you're actually empowering students or the learners, I must say, to come forward with creative or innovative ideas. And the research work is always included, and it's always student centered class. In this case, we can say learners centered class. The people, those who are, or the teachers, those who are willing to learn and grow themselves in their professional field, so it's always centered around them, and it's always about shared learning. No one can survive alone. Definitely we need ideas, we need opinions of others, we want others to share the experiences with us. And during your discussion or shared learning, you always come across some interesting ideas which you feel like if you try to implement them in your class or in your daily life, you will be able to get your or obtain your desired results. So it's always about shared learning. Non-experiential class, non-experiential class, it's always results oriented, when everything has been defined and you have hard and fast rules for that, and you are not willing to get someone else's opinions, and you are not interested in your growth, and you feel like, okay, I'm doing this and this is the only right thing, and it's based on theories instead of being practical based. So, and it's always teacher centered class, where there is a person who always plays the role of a dictator instead of a mentor or instead of a facilitator. And in such environment, the creativity doesn't grow, and not everyone gets the opportunity to share their opinions or what they feel like or what they see think like, and no discussion takes place. So actually there is no growth in non-experiential classes, and long lectures are delivered. um, these are the examples of a non-experiential class, which might be conducted by few teachers. I actually have no idea about that, but the difference between experiential class and the non-experiential class is there in front of you. Activity, I have kept few activities as well in my YouTube videos, so that it enables a person to focus on yourself and to analyze about your personality and your teaching characteristics as well. So this activities asks you to tell about your strengths and weaknesses as a teacher. As a teacher, everyone has a strength and a weakness. So if you have a teacher log or a journal log with you, so mention about your strengths and weaknesses as well. Activity, choose the sentence if it's true or false. When we have talked about the experiential class and the non-experiential class, so this activity of true or false or yes or no is related to that information. The questions are mentioned. The questions are open-ended, do you think, in the experiential class? The second question is audience experience direct activity through hands-on participation. The third one is results of activities are discussed by participants. The fourth one is that the teacher centered class is oriented. And the fifth one is it is based on theories only. Kindly check your basic knowledge about experiential learning and non-experiential learning, and then we move on the next slide. Okay, here we have the Kolb cycle of experiential learning. It starts, actually, it's a circle. I will start it from the top experience. Okay. Okay, for example, you have experienced something, you have used a certain teaching methodology in your class, and it consisted of a single work. Everyone was supposed to do some sort of independent work, and while observing the results, or by assessing your children, and you observe this thing, reflective observation, and you try, after observing, you try to reflect whether it was successful or not, or it was a failure, and whether that sort of methodology has actually worked with the students and the children, they have learned something or not. And after observing that, you come across, you come with a concept. Okay, the next point is abstract conceptualization. We are using the word abstract over here because you are not actually sure the new concept which you have formed. This abstract conceptualization also includes shared learning. After observing your methodology, you feel like that you need to discuss with your other colleagues or peer members, and you want to discuss the strategy you have done, and it is not producing the desired results. And after the shared discussion, you come to a abstract conceptualization. Okay, I am going to implement another strategy in my class, or I'm going to use a different approach to teach my students, or some you going to implement some other sort of activities in my class, and instead of independent work, you're going to offer them some sort of pair work or group work, etc. And then you start working upon that, you experiment on those new ideas. That is active experimentation. And after experimenting, once again the cycle starts, and then you experience something else, whether that strategy was successful or not. So this is actually the cycle of experiential learning, explained to us by Kolb, and this is a quite successful one as well, and it helps in the growth of a learner. It's not only for the teachers, even other people, those who are trying to develop themselves, or trying to approach to certain strategies which can help them in their professional growth can also work this, and it can be done in your daily life as well. Experiential learning, that you experience something and then you observe, and after observing you reflect on that, and after reflecting you form a sort of concept, and or you come with a hypothesis. Instead of using the word conceptualization, I would prefer using the word hypothesis. And you come with a statement or a hypothesis, and you are willing to experiment something new, and after experimenting that, then you come across a new experience. And this way, when you keep trying, so you learn more and more. Activity: ponder about your teaching methodologies. Have you followed the below mentioned point? Have you ever self reflected on your teaching strategy? Have you ever followed? I have shared my many other videos in which I have discussed about the types of learners and their activities related to those types of learners, different types of intelligences. How can you attain those intelligences or acquire those intelligences? And then there are a lot many learning styles discussed. So have you ever self-reflected on your teaching strategy, and or have you ever included students in active experimentation? Have you ever asked your students to share their experiences with you, or share any of your concepts which you have built yourself thinking that it will work, and it worked, and it actually worked actually. Okay, experiential learning cycle. Once again, this is a cycle. This cycle is in a simple form. Experience, then you share it, then the process takes place. Process of shared discussion with your peer groups or with the management or your coordinators. So you take a process, undergo a process of learning something new, and then you generalize a statement or generalize about your new approach or teaching methodology, and then you apply it in your class, and finally, or once again I must say, you experience something new, and then once again you share it. So this is a cycle, but it helps in your growth. I actually love this experiential learning cycle. It actually teaches you that you are always moving, and one activity cannot be successful with all types of students or at all levels. So this shows that you're continuously moving and you're growing and you're learning, and experiential learning should take place. And thank you so much for watching, dear subscribers, dear members. Kindly like this video, subscribe to it, and share it with your other friends. And I'll be bringing lot many more interesting videos for all of you. Hopefully this helps in your daily teaching life. And I'm just doing it, thinking that I must share it with others as well. And thank you once again for watching. Thank you so much.